Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanditanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagapate Kopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today he will be doing chapter 3, text 13. Does everyone know the name of the chapter?
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga. Yes.
Okay, so we got a few people we can actually see, or 2 people. Hey, Haribo. Okay. Bhagavad Gita 3:13. So everyone can repeat. Yagya Shistashina Shanto.
Yagya Shishta Pinashanti.
Uchante Savakil Vishai.
Uchante Sarvakil Vishai.
Jate Punjate Tvagam Papa.
Punjate Tvam Agam Papa.
Yatmakaranat.
Pachanti Atma Karanat.
Yashistashina Shanto.
Yajna Shishashina Shanto.
Uchante Savakil Vishai.
Uchante Sarvakil Vishaya.
Tvagam Papa.
Punjante Agam Papa.
Pachanti Atmakaranat.
Ye Pachanti Atma Karanat.
Yashistashina Shanto.
Yajna Shishashina Shanto.
Uchante Savakil Vishai.
Uchante Sarvakil Vishaya.
Tvagam Papa.
Punjante Agam Papa.
Pachanti Atmakaranat.
Ye Pachanti Atma Karanat.
Yagya Shishta Shina Santo
Yajna Shishta Shinanta Shanto.
Uchante Sarvakil Vishai
Uchante Sarvakil Vishaya.
Punjate Te Tvagam Papa
Punjate Agam Papa.
Te Pachanti Atma Karanat
Ye Pachanti Atma Karanat.
Yagna Shishta Nisha Santo
Shishta Santo.
Shanto.
Muchante Sarva Kubisai
Muchante
Sarvakil
Sarvakil
Vishaya.
Bujante Taitva Aham Papa
Bhunjate Agam Papa.
Ye Pachante Atma Karanat
Ye Pachanti Atma Karanat.
Yajna Shishta Santo.
Yajna Shishta Shina Shanto.
Muchante Sarvakil Vishai.
Uchante Sarvakil Vishaya.
Bhunjate tva agam papa.
Bhunjate te tva agam papa.
Ye pachanti atma karanat.
Ye pachanti atma karanat.
Anyone else?
Yajna shishtani shasanto. Yajna
Yagna
shishtasena santo.
shanto.
Muchyante sarvakil bishay. Muchyante
Muchante
sarvakil
sharvakil
bishay.
vishay.
Bunjate swa agam papa.
Bhunjate
Bunjate
te
te
tva
tva agam
agam papa.
papa. Ye pachanti atma karanat. Ye
Ye
pachanti
pachante
atma
atma
karanat.
karanat. Yagna shishta shina shanto.
Yajna shishtasena santo.
Muchante sharvakil vishaya.
Muchyante sarvakil bishay.
Bhunjate te tva agam papa.
Bunjate te tva agam papa.
Ye pachante atma karanat.
Ye pachanti atma karanat.
Jaggashishta Shina Shambhe Muchante
Ya shishtasena santo.
So,
Shanto Muchante Sava Kilvishai
Muchante
Muchyante
sharvakil
sarvakil bishay.
vishaya.
Bhunjate Te Tagang Papa
Bhunjate
Bunjate
te
te
tva
tva
agam
agam
papa.
papa.
Je Pachanta Karanat
Ye
Ye
pachante
pachanti
atma
atma karanat.
karanat.
Yagyashista,
Yagna
Yajna
shishta.
shishta.
a food taken after performance of yagya.
Of
A
food
food
taken
taken
after
after performance of
performance of
yajna.
yagna.
Ashinaha,
Ashinaha,
Ashinaha.
eaters.
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 Santaha,
Shantaha,
Santaha.
the devotees.
the
The devotees.
devotees.
Muchante,
Muchante,
Muchyante.
get relief.
get
Get relief.
relief.
Sarva,
Sarva,
all kinds of.
all kinds
of.
of.
Kilbishai,
Kilbishai,
from sins.
from
From
sins.
sins.
Punjate,
Bhunjate,
Bunjate.
enjoy.
enjoy.
Te,
Te,
Te.
they.
they.
To,
To,
To.
but.
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 Agam,
Agham,
Agam.
previous sins.
previous sins.
Sins.
Papaha,
Papaha,
Papaha.
sinners.
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 Yea,
Yea,
who.
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 Pachanti,
Pachanti,
Pachanti.
prepare food.
Prepare
prepare
food.
food.
Atma karanat,
Atma
Atma
karanat,
karanat.
for sense enjoyment.
for
For
sense
sense
enjoyment.
Translation: the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment rarely eat only sin. Report: the devotees of the Supreme Lord, or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness, are called santas, and they are always in love with the Lord, as it is described in the Brahma Samhita 538. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu velokayanti.
Yam Shama Sundaram Machanti.
The santas, being always in a compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. Therefore, such devotees always perform yagyas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, etc. And these performances of yagyas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, but also the eaters of all kinds of sins. How can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtan Yajna in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world. Read the translation again. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment rarely eat only sin. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pustaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachani Nivasesa Sunyavadi Prastachade Satarani. So this verse and the previous verses also deal with yajnas or sacrifices. So this is a sacrifice that devotees, most devotees, maybe new people or neophyte devotees may not do this, but generally all devotees are very careful not to eat anything unless it's first offered to Krishna with love and devotion, or as much love and devotion that we ourselves can muster up to make the offering. But we don't eat it unless it's first offered, unless it's prashadam. Otherwise, it's bhoga. Bhoga is sense enjoyment. We offer bhoga to Krishna so he can enjoy. And then it becomes prashadam, or the mercy of the Lord. And by eating it, you make spiritual advancement, you get free from sins. It's like an easy way. Prabhupada once, maybe more than once, but at least once said, we're eating our way back to Krishna. So we eat prashadam. So I'm going to kind of go over the purport. Devotees of the Lord or persons in Krishna consciousness are called santas, and they are always in love with the Lord. Others, of course, we may not always be in love with the Lord, but we're trying to develop our love for him, and we do have some love for him. If we didn't have any love for him, we wouldn't be doing all this, making all this, time and sacrifices that we do make, even if it isn't much. We do it out of love. We're not getting anything for it. It's not like a business. Like you go to work because you get paid. You're not going to do it if you weren't going to get paid. So it's not really you love your job or you love your boss and you just do it all for free. But for Krishna, you do so many things, sometimes with more enthusiasm than you would for your regular job that you're getting paid for. And you're not getting anything material for it. But Krishna reciprocates within one's heart also. Love with the Lord, as described in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti, Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Surupam Govindamari Purusham, Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shama Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So I hope everybody has that. It says actually that's how we can see the Lord, if we have our eyes tinged with the salve of love. Then we can actually see Krishna. So we can see him sometimes, not actually like personally seeing each other, or on, in this case, on Zoom, seeing each other. In this case, on Zoom, seeing one person, because everybody else is chicken. Whatever your reasons are, why you don't turn on your videos. It's like, I think sometimes you may not want to show everybody, because you don't look so good. You don't have makeup, your hair is not down. So just do whatever you got to do to get on. But it's much nicer for myself and for anyone giving a class to see who they're talking to, just rather than a name. It's just kind of like polite, you might say. But we'd like to see you, just like we'd like to see Krishna. And in some cases, we have ISKCON Connecticut, where we see part of Lord Jagannath. We don't see is even all of Lord Jagannath. So the Shantas being always in compact of love with the Supreme Personality of God, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. So we just take everything and we try to use everything in Christian service. Oh, there was 4 things we went over once. Utilization is the principle. What are the other 3 things? Anybody know? And even one of them?
Purity is the force.
Nanda Gopal, he raised his hand. I can see him. I'm going to get my view so I could see everybody. Not see everybody, but at least see everybody's names. Okay,
Preaching is the essence.
Preaching is the essence. Okay, now who else wants to raise your hand? Okay, Gita Mala.
Purity is the force.
Purity is the force. One more. Oh, I am surprised if nobody gets this.
I have it.
Can I say, Prabhuji?
No, just first, wait. What? I know, I can see. I just want to see if anybody else can see it. Okay,
I can
I
say.
know you can't, you have to say it. I know, Padmalochini. Now.
Can I say, Prabhuji? Okay, books are the basis.
That's right. Books are the basis. And what's the one that I said?
Utility is the principle. Utility is the principle, you said.
Yes. Okay, so we can utilize everything in Christian service. Of course, preaching is the essence. That's what it's all about, is preaching. But we have to use things in Christian service for our preaching. We have to be pure so that our preaching will be successful. And we have to base our preaching on the books, Prabhupada's books. So, anyway, I'm glad at least some people remembered that from a previous class. Therefore, such devotees always perform yagas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, etc. Is the hearing, chanting, remembering. And these performances of yagas keep them aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Interesting how I remember Prabhupada gave the example of just like you're grinding spices, with this hand thing, mortar and piston, and you grind spices. He says, when you grind spices, you're killing some living entities that are there. So in order to counteract the sinful activities you perform just in your everyday service, you have to chant the holy names of the Lord. So we have to perform this Sankirtan Yagya. This Sankirtan Yagya is meant for us for this age of Kali Yuga. And it's not a very difficult thing. I mean, all you have to do is be able to talk. If you can talk and hear, you can chant and hear. So we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we try to hear the mantra, and in that way we get free from other sins. We also get free from sins that we've committed. We become pure. So we the more we do it, the purer we become. And this is the simplest of all the yagas for the different ages, because we're really low class fallen people with the bottom of the barrel of living entities that already went back to Godhead, and we're still here in the bottom of the barrel trying to enjoy. So we can't perform meditation. We can't perform these sacrifices. Now we do sacrifices. I mean, we meditate by chanting on, trying to meditate on the holy name. And we do sacrifices where we offer grains into the sacrificial fire. Not so often, but it's not recommended that we do these sacrifices for this age, but we do them for certain things. When Prabhupada was here, the only time I remember he ever did these fire sacrifices was for initiations, weddings, and installing deities. And when I don't think we did it for anything else. Now, some people, they like these fire sacrifices and they like to do them for every little thing that happens, you know, do a fire sacrifice. If you want to do something special on a special day, go out and do Harinam. That would be the real sacrifice that pleases Krishna, than just staying home and starting a fire, offering some grains and chanting. So then deity worship is for Dwapara Yuga. And in Dwapara Yuga, we also do deity worship today, but we don't do it to the same way. It's very, very difficult to become completely purified just by doing deity worship in Kali Yuga, where in Dwapara Yuga, that was the way to become purified. But it's so easy, chant Hare Krishna. Of course, even in our deity worship, if it's going to be successful, we have to chant Hare Krishna. And even in the sacrifices that we perform, has to be the chanting of Hare Krishna in the beginning and at the end. It should be chanting of Hare Krishna. And I don't know about the meditation, if there was any chanting of Hare Krishna when the people were meditating. I really don't know how they meditated for 60,000 years, what they're thinking of. If they're thinking of the holy names, they're thinking of Krishna in their heart, Paramatma. That's what I suspect they're thinking of. They focus somehow. We can't do that. We can't do that for an hour, let alone 60,000 years. So this is so easy for us in Kali Yuga to chant the holy names of the Lord. Others who prepare food, oh wait, maybe I've had skip some. Archana. And these performances of yajnas keep them always aloof for all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves. Now, why are they thieves? Because it doesn't belong to them. Everything belongs to Krishna. So we have to acknowledge it's Krishna's. This is yours, Krishna. I want to use it for you. So not only are they thieves, they're taking what doesn't belong to them, but also the eaters of all kinds of sins. They're eating sin because they're not offering it. Not a hard thing to do. And everyone should offer every single thing they eat. Make sure it's offered. Generally, when you do it regularly, it becomes habit that you wouldn't, you don't eat anything unless it's offered first to Krishna. So how can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? Now he might think he's happy. Oh, I got all this stuff, I'm happy. I heard a devotee ask Srila Prabhupada, what did he ask about? That he's happy or something in the material world. Prabhupada said what do you think of somebody who says, that I'm happy or something, I'm an atheist and I'm happy. And Prabhupada said he's a madman. He's a madman. It's and then in another place he describes similar atheists as a madman, and there was a bunch of scholars there, and they said, well, wouldn't you say he's crazy, he's stupid, why you say madman? He said, well, madman is like the sum total of all crazy stupidness. So he's mad. And how is he mad? Because it's not true. You're suffering. Everyone is suffering. When you actually know the absolute truth, people are not happy in this material world. They're in ignorance. Yes, ignorance is bliss. They're in ignorance and it seems so wonderful. Everything is great, but it doesn't last in every situation. I mean, the thing that just came to me right now is, I don't even know the names, but in England, there's the queen, and then there's some prince, and the prince left, and the prince is married to somebody who's not royalty, and they have so many problems. I mean, they got everything. They don't have to pay for anything. They got it, but they're not happy. Nobody's happy. And you think the queen is happy now that the grandsons are doing this and that? Nobody in the best situation in this world is happy. The president isn't happy. Nobody's happy. They get criticized by everybody for everything they do. It's not a nice place, you know. You can be happy, you know, to some extent, something you feel really good, but it's just so temporary, flickering. Chapala Sukha. It's there and it's gone. Somebody meets a famous movie star and they're so happy. What's there to be happy about? Then they go away and that's the end of that. You got nothing to do with them, but you're just so enamored by them, and you forget everything else, and you're just thinking you're happy. That's ignorance. It's not real happiness. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it also says there's no question of happiness without peace of mind. If you don't have peace of mind, how can you be happy? And you can't have peace of mind if you're a thief, and if you're what was it? Stealing, a thief. Sense gratifiers are not only thieves, but also the eaters of all kinds of sins. And so in order to get free from these sins, when you eat, you offer that first to Krishna, then you eat it. It's not only not sinful, but it's also purifies you of your sins you already have. So how can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? It is not possible. So a thief may say he's happy, but he's not happy. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtan Yajna in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world. So even if the whole world is not peaceful and happy, at least if they're performing Sankirtan, those who are performing Sankirtan, they can be happy, even though everyone else may not be happy. So before I go on, does anyone have any questions or comments on what I read or said? Itamala? Your hand is up.
Oh, it didn't lower it from earlier. Sorry.
You just got to jump on everybody else, huh? Okay, anyone else? Anyone have any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, they said you're not supposed to offer bread and grains that you buy from outside. Now I buy bread. I don't make bread at home. So I just offer it on the fridge, or I Shri Vishnu it. I don't.
Well, you
If I
shouldn't
don't-
Shri Vishnu. Generally, you Shri Vishnu medicine. Medicine, sometimes even water. But I would say offer it, but not offer it on the altar. Of course, it has to be, you can't eat anything that has meat, fish, or eggs in it, or onions or garlic. You shouldn't offer those. You shouldn't eat those things. But I wouldn't eat it unless I offered it, even if you just offer it on the side, offer it to Prabhupada, but not on your altar. That's my advice. That's more practical, but I don't know how, you know, what the highest standard is. Of course,
Yeah.
don't eat it. But
Yeah, but I eat cereal, I eat bread, I buy all those things from.
I
don't
know, and
do
I'm
the-
telling you what you should do, and you can do what you like. That's my suggestion. I'm not telling you to do it because I
Okay,
don't
yeah,
even know.
yeah, I generally do offer
Yeah, that's all.
on the fridge.
Offer it on the fridge.
Yeah, I have DDs on the fridge, like pictures on the fridge, you know, I don't offer it on the altar, but on the.
Well, not on the altar, but where do you put everything for offering?
When I cook something, I offer it on the altar, but when I don't cook something, when I bought it from outside, I offer it on my fridge where I have pictures of the deities.
Okay,
I think she
but
keeps
where-
it on the counter on the side.
So they can't.
No,
even
I
see it?
offer it each single time. I don't, everything I bring from the grocery, I don't en masse offer it. I offer it each time I'm
Okay,
eating.
your refrigerator, where's the
Is-
food placed when you
That's what he
offer it
asked.
on
in
your,
the fridge.
Oh, it's in there. So the refrigerator already ate it. I would suggest making it a little bit more devotional by making up a plate or something, putting it outside, gathering it together, putting it on a table or something, and then offer it to the picture. Let them see it at least. Not to your deities, but the same way you offer it to the deities, or maybe a little quicker, simpler.
Oh, Prabhuji, maybe I'm doing it wrong. When I bring the bread, I put it in the fridge. But say I make a sandwich of the bread, then I will offer it on the fridge by showing it in a hand or in a paper plate or some kind of a plate. And then I'll put it there on the side for 2 minutes and then I will eat it.
Okay, so you offer every piece of bread, not the whole loaf?
Not the whole loaf. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As I'm eating it, when I'm making a sandwich, I'll offer the sandwich
Okay.
and then I'll eat it.
Anyway, as long as you offer it, whatever way you do it, that's good. Okay, so now no one has any questions. Is there anybody here who doesn't offer all their food? And if not, how come you don't have a question? And if you don't want to say it in front of everybody else, you can contact me later. Because you should offer all your food. It's not hard to do. And when you get in the habit, it becomes, second nature. Okay, I'm going to read the next verse if nobody has anything else in purport. Nad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anasambhava yagnad bhavati parjanyo yagya karma samudbhava. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. So this is one of the main things you get from performing yajna is you get rain. And sometimes if it's very dry, especially in India, they really need rain and they perform yajna. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great commentator on the Bhagavad Gita, writes as follows. I'm not going to read all this Sanskrit. The Supreme Lord, who is known as the Yajna Purusha, or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifices, the master of all the demigods who serve him as the different limbs of the body serve the whole. So all the demigods are like different limbs of Krishna's body. They're not really exactly Krishna's limbs, but they're acting that way. So if you make a sacrifice to Krishna, the demigods are also pleased. You don't have to do something separate. Although we see the case of Indra, he didn't like it. He was upset. Why they're not offering to me? Every year they offer to me. This year they're listening to this talkative child. Now I'm going to have to punish them, all of them. Not just punish them. I'm going to kill them all. Kill all their cows. Kill this talkative child, and that's it. Pretty not nice. So this is, but this was a case where he became a little proud. So Krishna wanted to put him in his place. So it says here, demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna are appointed officers who manage material affairs, and the Vedas direct sacrifices to satisfy these demigods so they may be pleased to supply air, light, and water sufficiently to produce food grains. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods, who are different limbs of the Lord, are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually, also materially. By such action, not only are past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. So we know a lot about immunization now, and we're recommending it. although we're recommending people do whatever they want to do, because you think the way I look at it is you use your intelligence, you figure out the odds, which is more likely. Me, getting this virus and even possibly dying, or taking the shots and possibly becoming a lizard, or whatever else they say you become. So anyway, but immunization, we become immune to material nature, material temptations, material diseases by taking this, by making this sacrifice, by such actions, by sacrificing for Krishna, offering food to Krishna. Not only are past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contaminations of material nature. So when there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. I mean, this is very appropriate for today. That's why I wanted to read it. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to material affection. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reactions of past material infections, which are impediments to the progress of self-realization. So it helps us become immune to other material desires by eating prasadam. It really cleanses us of all other sins and helps us to become pure, helps us to become stronger. Now, we shouldn't overeat also. We shouldn't eat too much, because then by eating too much, then material desires come. So we should eat enough to keep body and soul together. And if we did that, all of us would probably be very, very skinny. So we eat a little extra just in case. But we shouldn't eat too much. Shouldn't eat too little. Bhagavad Gita says, not too much, not too little. So on the other hand, one who does not do so, offer their food to Krishna, continues to increase the volume of sinful action. And this prepares the next body to resemble hogs and dogs. You resemble hogs and oh my God, look, I'm looking like a hog. So, to suffer the resultant reactions of all sins. So you take birth as a hog or a dog. It's so easy. Just offer your food. Go back to the spiritual world. So the material world is full of contaminations, and one who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack, whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. So it helps. It's like immunization. I mean, that's the only reason I eat prasadam, is because I want to get immune. Sure. But that's just another side benefit of eating prasadam, is you get immune. So food, grains, or vegetables are factually edibles. The human being eats different kinds of food grains, vegetables, fruits, etc. And the animals eat the refuse of the food grains and vegetables, grass, plants, etc. Human beings who are accustomed to eating meat and flesh must also depend on the production of vegetation in order to eat the animals. So you have to have rains, even for the animals to live, because they subside on grains. And then you might say, well, there's lions who eat other animals, but they wouldn't have any other animals to eat if there was no rains for them to have their grains. So you have to have rains for everyone to survive. So therefore, ultimately, we have to depend on the production of the field and not on the production of big factories. So the field production is due to sufficient rain from the sky, and such rains are controlled by demigods like Indra, sun, moon, etc. And they are all servants of the Lord. The Lord can be satisfied by sacrifices. Therefore, one who cannot perform them will himself, wait, therefore one who cannot perform them will find himself in scarcity. That is the law of nature. So not necessarily even in this life, but in your next life, you may be very poor, might be in Ethiopia or somewhere. Yoga, specifically the Sankirtan Yoga, prescribed for this age, must therefore be performed to save us at least from scarcity of food supply. Even if that's the only reason we're doing Sankirtan, just so we can eat. Because without rain, you're not going to have any food. So even if it's even just for that, therefore perform to save us at least from scarcity of food supply. I mean, we're getting totally spiritual benefit, 100% from doing Sankirtan. You know, whatever we put into it, we get back way more. We should start doing some Harinam. I mean, actually, I just heard today, I was driving, I turned on the news, and I heard that by the end of May, there's going to be no restrictions at all, except for possibly, they're not even sure about wearing masks. You may still have to wear masks, but you can have as many people as you want going to church. You can have many people in the restaurants, in the bars. You know, these are really important things. And also in stadiums. So that's what they're saying now. Of course, if between now and then, you know, we get a second or third or fourth wave, I don't know how many waves we've had, they may change that. So we have to consider, you know, opening the temple. Maybe not with all the deities there yet, because that would be a grand opening. But if we can at least have programs there every Sunday. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, Nanda Gopal, after thoroughly thinking about it, what's your comment or question?
It's a question. So while in the class you shared an example where a mother or a woman who is like churning grains in a mortar, and they also incur some kind of sin in daily activities, but we can chant to basically mitigate those sins. But I was just meditating while thinking about that in day-to-day life, just existing, knowingly and unknowingly in work, I already know that there are certain things which we should not be doing, but I have to do it. Like making a laser, it can go in a defense application, destroy something. I already know, but we have to do it. So is it fair that I'm still chanting and still doing the things which is not right? So that's what I was thinking in my head.
Well, just speaking of defense, I just heard Prabhupada say, well, devotee said it was, but Prabhupada was in the video and he was telling about when his father came. His father was in the Second World War, and his father was really against war and against, for peace or whatever. And he was saying how horrible people are. And Prabhupada said how they horrible. He said that in the Second World War, we had Japanese prisoners on boats, and we threw them to be eaten by the sharks. And Prabhupada's reply was, they're the ones that started the war. It was okay to do that. Something like that.
He didn't say it was okay to do that. He said they started it.
Yeah, but
They're the ones who started.
yeah, they're the ones who started it. So he didn't say it was okay, but it sounded like, that's what happens when you start, you do something like that, there's going to be reactions to it. So anyway, the devotee's father felt better after hearing that from Prabhupada, because this is a real spiritual man. And it's like, you don't expect him to say that, but in war, I guess things are like that. So using something, it depends on, what they use it for. It depends on, the country itself, if they're actually a religious country. We used to be, I don't know if we are anymore. But Prabhupada said in all your activities, in any job, you're performing sinful activities. He said, if you're a businessman and then you tell somebody, for you, I make no profit, you're lying to them because you have to be making at least 50% or you wouldn't be in business. But still, you say that. So it's a lie. So you have to counteract it by, chanting. So if you're not sure if you're counteracting it enough, then chant more, that's all. But that's what it is. Every single day and everything we do, there's so many sins. We walk with, McGrary the hunter, he used to half kill, and he was terrible, really terrible person. But somehow or other, after meeting Narada Muni, he became a great devotee. And he would walk and he'd brush the ants away, making sure he doesn't step on an ant when he walks. So I mean, he's trying, but still, I'm sure he walked on some ants or he laid down on an ant or something. So he has to perform sacrifice in order to counteract these sins we commit almost unknowingly in the everyday course of action, that we commit sins and we have to counteract them. So we have to chant the holy names of the Lord. And that counteracts the sins, that helps it to rain. And then we have food we can eat. The animals can eat. And then the animals who eat the animals, they can eat. Yes.
So,
Yes.
As much as it is important to chant, knowing that, hearing that, while I listen to the class or listen to someone else speak, it resonates and understandable. But when I have to do it, I still cannot focus more than 3 minutes. So how to balance that? I think that's also a sin. You should chant to mitigate or balance out the sins you are committing, but I am not even able to focus on chanting or do that thing right.
Well, my experience, my recommendation is after 3 minutes, or if you notice you're not hearing, then you bring it back to hearing again. That's all. Whenever you notice, maybe it'll take a half hour before you notice. You already wrote a whole book in your mind, and now you realize I'm not listening to the holy name. So then you start listening again. That's all you can do. We're all conditioned. You can't do any more than that. So just keep chanting. And when you realize you're not hearing it, just start hearing it again. And then you'll have to go off again and you go back and hear it again. And the more you do that, then your mind will become your best friend and remind you. Right now, our mind it's programmed for sense gratification. So when we're chanting, it's not really sense gratification, it's spiritual sense gratification. If you're completely pure, chanting is like ecstasy. But in this conditioned state, we want gross sense gratification. So when we chant, when we listen, then our mind goes again because we programmed it to gross sense gratification. And then when we realize it, we bring it back to, no, I want to hear. And then eventually our mind will be reprogrammed to want to hear, because that's what we want. We're the ones that programmed it. Now we have to reprogram it, which takes a lot of effort. But there's no loss. It's nice that that doesn't matter. Even if you don't complete the whole process in this life, which we hope we get some special mercy so we can go back home, back to Godhead. But even if we don't, you start your next life in a better situation than you're in now. There's no loss or diminution. It's really good. You don't go backwards. You're always going ahead. Whereas without Krishna consciousness, you can take birth as an animal or an insect or a germ or a leaf. No, maybe not a leaf, a tree. I don't know if a leaf is a living entity or not. the tree is, but it might be. I don't know if you can become a leaf. But you can certainly become a plant or a fish.
Or grass.
What?
Or a grass, blade of grass.
Yes, grass. You can definitely become a blade of grass. Because Brahma prayed to be a blade of grass, just outside Vrindavan, so the devotees can walk on him now and then. Okay, I got a few minutes, not many. I want to quote maybe a few verses, maybe one verse. Krishnavanam tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yogyai Sankirtana Prayai Yajanti Hi Sumeda Saha. In the age of Kali, because in every age there's different types of yogyas, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna, talking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So this is a verse predicting Lord Chaitanya, but it's also saying that in Kali Yuga, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting. So we should do it, not just to show everybody that we're intelligent, because most people who see us doing it don't think we're intelligent when we're doing it. but you are intelligent to do it. Evam yuga nurupabhyam Bhagavan yuga vartibi manujai ijate rajan shreyasam ishvaro hari. Thus, O king, the supreme Lord Hari is the giver of all desirable benefits of life. Intelligent human beings worship the particular forms and names that the Lord manifests in different ages. So in this age, Krishna came as Krishna Chaitanya or Mahaprabhu. So we should be worshiping this form mainly the form of Lord Chaitanya. Of course, Lord Chaitanya is teaching us to worship Krishna, so we can also worship Krishna. So simultaneously, but we should never think we can go anywhere without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Even if you get the mercy, it says you have to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. You can't worship Lord Chaitanya without also worshiping Lord Nityananda, because then you won't get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Kalims Sabha Jayantya, these are all from the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 5. Arya Gunagya Sara Bhagina Yatra Sankirtane Naiva Savasvato Balabhyate. Those who are actually advanced in knowledge are able to appreciate the essential value of this age of Kali. So if you're advanced in knowledge, you can appreciate Kali Yuga. Such enlightened persons worship Kali Yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved by performance of Sankirtan. We're so fortunate. I mean, you might think we're unlucky because we're born in Kali Yuga, and there are certainly a lot of problems in Kali Yuga. But in one sense, people in other ages, all you got to do is chant the holy names and you get all perfections of life. Like that, how can you go wrong? Nahiyata paramo labbo dehinam brahmyatam iha yato videta paramam shantim nasyati samshriti. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for embodied souls forced to wander throughout the material world than the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan movement, by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for embodied souls, that's us, forced to wander throughout the material world. That's us. Then the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan movement. This is the highest possible gain by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So this is the yogya for this age. As I was saying in this chapter we're reading of Karma Yoga, at least up until now, it's talking about sacrifices, the last many verses. And this is the last one I'm going to read. We got 2 minutes. Devarshi bhutapta nyanam pitrinam nakinkaro nayam rini charajan savatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya kartam. O king, one who has given up all material duties, okay, and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Lord's service has no need to serve such persons separately. That's an important verse. You know, we think we have so many responsibilities. If we actually fully surrender to Krishna, we have no other responsibility. We're already paying them. Other people may think we're not paying those other people back, but we are, because they're all parts and parcels of Krishna. We're serving Krishna. Krishna will take care of all the other things. We don't have to worry about it at all. We just surrender to Krishna. So I like that verse. That's also in the 11.5. That's 11.541. Okay. We got 1 minute or less. Any questions? I don't see anybody's hands raised. Okay, thank you all, and especially thanks to those who turned on their videos. Hare Krishna, glories to Prabhupada. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu
Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.